All right, welcome back, everyone. We are live. It is July, what is it, 14th? I know you guys may have seen Gus on the thumbnail. He's rebooting his Wi-Fi. So he went live earlier today. He goes live Tuesday mornings now at 6 a.m. Pacific with Emily and Cody Davis. His Wi-Fi was acting up, so he's trying to work on that right now. But I do have Curtis here. So how's it been, man? How are you doing? Is your summer over yet, or what's going on with
Oh
you, man?
no, do not put that on me, man. I still got just over a month left before I have to go back to teaching, and so I was on vacation for the half of June, and then I'm back in Washington now and doing my real estate thing.
Very cool. Yes, if those of you if you haven't, definitely if you get up early enough, check out Cody, Gus, and Emily streaming live. It's a very good discussion on debt, and maybe we can touch on that also today. But I do have Curtis here, and you are the only one that has actually used one of the different thumbnail that I sent you. I usually send multiple thumbnails, and people can change it. So I'm glad you took advantage and changed the thumbnail for your page.
Well, you bullied me into it. You know, I got a barrage of messages like, "Oh, you can change it." So I took the hint.
Hey, I just if you don't like it or there's one that doesn't look like you maybe enough and you want to change it to a certain one, so that I'm glad you did choose a different one so it does look a little bit different. But yeah, I saw a reel. It was pretty interesting. It was Chris Williamson. They were talking about, or yeah, they're talking about kind of regret. But let's play the clip real quick and kind of get some thoughts on it.
Okay.
This is it right here, right? I believe.
You'll regret it if you get married. You'll regret it if you don't get married. You'll regret it if you have kids, and you'll regret it if you don't. Kierkegaard said this 200 years ago as follows: whatever you choose, you'll regret it, because the problem isn't in your choices, it's in romanticizing a life you
Grass
haven't
is always
lived.
greener.
A person always finds an untraveled path alluring and mysterious. That's why the issue isn't making the right choice, it's choosing and deciding which regret you'll live with. In life, we must choose our regrets.
Mm.
All right. Did that relate to you in any way, or what's your thoughts on that clip?
Yeah, I think my first thought is I think it's really interesting that the grass is greener, the whole regret topic was even 200 years ago, right? The same things that we're battling now is not a new concept. There might be like little like wrinkles, but it's been around for hundreds of years. And so that was kind of the first thing that kind of caught my eye. And then the other thing is a few of the things that he brought up, you can't really undo. Like, yeah, you can get a divorce if you get married or something like that. But like having a kid, once you have one, you kind of have one, right? So, and I think there's smaller ones that you can kind of take back or whatever. But um, I think there were a few powerful ones like the kid or the marriage, right? Um, and especially for Gen Z, we're seeing less people get married and have kids. I'm not sure if it's the regret or exactly what is happening there.
I just want to remind everyone, Curtis is also streaming live right now. So jump over to his channel, like, subscribe. And I saw Frank tuning in earlier this morning. And there is his print on demand page where you can get some merchandise, some cool merchandise. I even saw like daily planners he's coming out with, so you can get it customized. I'm gonna definitely go check it out over there. Yes, Yasik Gus is dealing with Coconut Wireless. I believe he is resetting his router and everything right now. So hopefully he jumps back on. But yeah, I think we're talking about regret, decisions, and I think even I don't know if I heard it from Simon, but Simon, an uneducated economist, is always talking about the economy, lumber, things like that. But he made a great point the other day. There's no really good or bad economy. There's kind of just the economy, like how things are going, right? And I think that's the same thing with even like making a decision. Sometimes you just got to make the decision, can't have any regrets about it. You just got to move forward, and the results is what it is. But you got to just make that decision. Let me try get Gus in here real quick. He's popping in, so that's Gus. Are you there? Your camera's off. There you go.
I see what you're doing, Mark.
What? What do you mean?
You only want one. Yeah.
Oh, you okay? Oh, we're gonna play that clip later. You want to start that way?
You only want one. Nah, fuck it.
On one Asian guy on here, yes, but
Oh
that you
wow.
don't see
See?
any.
See? See what you're doing? See what you're
You know,
doing?
before we move on, I'll play the clip again since Gus just jumped on. But I do want to clarify. Like I said, Gus does live stream early on Tuesdays now with Emily and Cody, and I do want to clarify. Gus called me out saying that I maybe was making fun of his calculator skills, and by me doing that, I was making fun of other people in the community that take a long time to evaluate deals. And I definitely want to put this out there. It wasn't that people take a long time to evaluate deals. It was just me making fun of watching Gus kind of type with one finger, basically. You know, like people trying to use a computer and type something on, and they're using that one finger across the keyboard. So basically, that's what it was. But let me play this clip again since Gus just jumped on and get his thoughts on it. Here we go.
You'll regret it if you get married. You'll regret it if you don't get married. You'll regret it if you have kids, and you'll regret it if you don't. Kierkegaard said this 200 years ago as follows. Whatever you choose, you'll regret it. Because the problem isn't in your choices, it's in romanticizing a life you
Grass
haven't
is always
lived.
greener.
A person always finds an untraveled path alluring and mysterious. That's why the issue isn't making the right choice. It's choosing and deciding which regret you'll live with. In life, we must choose our regrets.
All right, Gus. Curtis kind of chimed in a bit. What is your kind of initial thoughts on that clip?
Am I good?
You're good. You're much better than this morning and when you first jumped on today.
Yeah, so basically, I mean, that's life. You're always going to reflect upon the things that you could have done and the decisions that you could have made. But I think as we get older and mature, owning your decision that you make and not worrying about the decision you didn't make starts to be the norm. And you don't care about the grass being greener on the other side or anything along those lines. I think so for example, I wish I invested when I was 24, 25 years old. I watch Cody. I watch a lot of these younger guys that jump on these podcasts talking about they're starting their journey at that particular age. And I wish I had that on my side as far as time. But then I reflect upon it. If I didn't do those things in my 20s, I may have not even been here. So I had to go through those times to be able to get to where I'm at right now. So I think the biggest thing for me is not regretting what you didn't or you didn't do. I think if you start doing that, you're going to focus on that so much. It's like you're trying to walk forward. If you're walking forward and you're looking backwards, you're going to fall and bust your head open. But if you're looking forward and you're only focused on looking forward, you're going to watch of anything that's going to get in your way or make any adjustments that you need to. So cool quote, cool reel. We're talking about it right now. But for my people out there making decisions, own your decisions, whether right or wrong, because either it's going to be the right move or it's going to be a learning experience.
Yeah, I think it's also a good way to frame future choices too. Is if you're debating between some options, think about the potential regret of doing it or not, and then are you going to be okay with that? And if you're not, well, then you should probably do it.
Have you either one of you guys ever regretted a decision that later became one of the best things that happened to you? So Gus, maybe you can go first.
Have I ever regretted a situation that ended up being the best thing? Yeah, I didn't want
Meeting
to come
me
to
and joining school?
No, I didn't. I never wanted to come to Maine. I was like, Maine, what the fuck is that? Where is that? Da 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 da. I'm like, I don't want to go there. They don't listen. Let me put it in a better way so people understand what I really mean. They don't listen to hip hop up there. So that was my chain of thought. And so I'm like, no, I hate it. So my first year, my first full year of college, I was like, I was on the fence and I couldn't wait to run home during the summer. Then my second year, I was like, this isn't that bad. I went home and there was still a whole bunch of fights and people doing the same thing and the drama. So my second year up here, I was like, maybe this isn't that bad. My third year I came up here, I stayed for the summer, and that's when I was sold. I was like, Maine is where I want to be at. It's safe. It's a great opportunity. I knew it was a great opportunity for me to grow. There's like 50 of me back where I'm from. Up here, I found out there's only one of me. And any way you want to go ahead and put that, but I'm thinking more business-like. And I was like, all right, cool. This is where I want to be. So I stayed that one summer and I never went back home, obviously to visit, but I never went back home to live again. So that's one decision I was 100% against that now got me sitting on the firefighter podcast with Marc and Curtis. So it played out.
Right. Curtis, maybe before you kind of answer, I do want to say, maybe a regret or decision is Gus becoming an influencer now, because someone commented earlier that Gus is an influencer. He's doing back-to-back live streams on YouTube now. That's what Cody Davis said. So, like I mentioned earlier, Gus is streaming live also now, so you can go jump over there, subscribe, like. He does live stream earlier at 6 a.m. Pacific on Tuesdays now with Cody Davis and Emily Lopez. But yeah, Curtis, was there, regretted a decision that later became one of the best things that happened to you?
Yeah. So my first like house hack, I remember I was laying in bed thinking, what the F am I doing here? Because I was trying to teach. I was going through my master's program. My bathroom, it didn't even have a floor because after I bought it, I found out there was no beam under the showers. The shower's just floating. There's no support. I'm just laying there, no no floor. I'm stressed. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just sign up for? At the time I was 24. I was like, what am I doing? Why is this even like worth it? Right? Well, now that house hack pays for with where I live now, and so I'm very grateful that I weather that storm. But in that moment, I was just laying there like, oh no.
Well, I probably regretted being a Bears fan at some point, but it's probably the best decision now once they're gonna win the Super Bowl this coming year. But I think even to Alex, the accidental investor's point, he says kind of a divorce and keeping the house. That's kind of similar. I think I talk about it often. And I don't regret meeting my son's mom. It is what it is. My son, came from that, so I best thing ever. But it was a struggle. It's been a work in progress. But I'll admit, and we actually have figured how to make things work. Definitely, our son is the ultimate reason why we kind of coordinate things and are able to do it. So, and even that, I talk about how it actually helped my real estate journey because I didn't really have to. Get someone else's approval or thoughts on making a decision as far as buying a property or where I'm going to deploy capital. So I do see people struggle out there when they do have a significant other where they're trying to make decisions and they got to get someone else on board. So for myself, separating from my son's mom actually really helped me in my journey.
Yeah.
I
can only imagine how that conversation would go. Hey, honey, I'm going to empty the entire retirement account and buy all the way in Pittsburgh, right? I can only imagine how that would go with the wife.
Yeah, well, to go a little bit further, I don't even think that conversation would have came up, because I think you're just in this other situation where it's more about you're kind of focusing on the family situation and day-to-day things, right? And making sure the kid's alive, right? But at some point, when you're separated now, it's like you actually have time really kind of allocated to yourself, right? Where that when he was with the mom, then now I have this time where I'm going to work on these other things. So that setback definitely worked out for myself. And like I said, I always understand why people do have a hard time making a decision. It's not necessarily them; it's because they have to also get someone else on board with them. Brett, who is a firefighter out in Wisconsin, is asking, where is Gus from?
I'm from Waterbury, Connecticut. A very interesting part in Connecticut. So I thought the whole world was like where I was from until I got out of that area, and I was like, oh. And I'll just leave it like that. I don't want to say anymore.
Yes, Janelle. Gus gave me a hard time one time, but Janelle, who would be joining us at some point on the live stream, says Gus always plays the best music in his IG posts.
Well, so you would send me a collab like, hey, the new episode, and people be like, "Hey Gus, what's the music you playing?" I'm like, that's not me. So I had to send Marc a message like, "Yo, bro, let's spicing it up a little bit." You know what I mean? Give it a little flavor, a little dose of that. It's all right. So.
And I did give Curtis a hard time yesterday. He put out a reel, and I swear the first like 10 seconds was like me and him doing a Beavis and Butthead clip, like just I'm like, at least edit it a little bit, like.
Nah, man, I just use the little clip thing. It's the highest score. I like the topic. I just go. I just post. I'm supposed to go, but now I'll start watching for you.
It's like even when it changes, it's like you got like 3 pictures of one person on there that are cut off in half, and I'm like, dude, at least edit it slightly. Let's see, Hyder. Hey, good morning, Hyder. It's been a while. Frank says, it would have come up in this house. Yep, definitely. Right. So, like I said, having that conversation, so I know, Curtis, you're not married or anything. Gus, I think you're the only one married on this panel right here. Is that a struggle for you as far as investing, getting the next property? How does that work for you?
Nah, she trusts me, to be honest. I think maybe early on when I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that," I think she believed in me, but I don't think she believed where it could go. In my head, I'm like, "Yo, I'm gonna do this, that, and the third, and boom, boom, boom." So I think for any regular person, it's hard for them to understand. But they're like, "Yeah, babe, you could do it. You could do it. I'm here to trust. I believe in you." So as time went on and I started building, it was like when she's seeing the results of it, like we move into a new house, just how we're living is increasing and getting better. What is there to question anymore? That's how I took it. She does get mad though if I have a property under contract and she does not know about it, and then I might say it randomly. So yeah, I got a closing next week. She's like, "What property is that?" Yeah, and then so she may give me shit for that, but other than that, no. And both of our little babies are both going to be in school. So I think she's going to be even more involved in it, seeing the properties, and maybe I can just let her tell the contractors and be the bad guy to the contractors, so I don't let her do that. So I'm very interested to see where the future goes with that. But no, she just let me do my thing, and now she gets to lay in the sun all day and watch, and enjoy the life. So
eat lobster rolls, right?
Hey man, I'm just trying to do it, man. I'm just trying to do it.
So Curtis, I know I sent you that clip or reel, but it was more like a post by Rich Summers, and even this talking about decisions, regrets. But the post was what females that invest in real estate or own rentals are more attractive than females that have OnlyFans pages, right? Yeah. So like for you though, I mean, I know it's funny, but I'm trying to also like for you looking for a partner, are you, is that something that comes up? Like, are you looking for someone that's in real estate or investing to make the process maybe easier?
Wait, hold on. That was a crazy segment. You went from you girls that do real estate, OnlyFans, and then you say, "So Curtis, where are you looking for your girl?"
No, what? Not looking for his girl, but just on that point of we're talking about the initial clip of regrets and making decisions, right? And as far as like him, is it something that comes up in his mind? Because we're talking about how people have a hard time with their spouse, investing because they have to go over the process with them or what they're doing. And you're successful already, Gus. So for you, it's a little bit easier where it's like, oh, she trusts me in my decisions, right? Like Curtis, though, is it something that even comes up where I think people joked about it before. There should be like a dating app that has credit scores, your investment portfolio, right? So I don't know.
I don't think like I'm evaluating her portfolio on Tinder or nothing like that, but it definitely does come up in conversation, and I don't need them to be like super investors. I just need them to not be an impediment on mine. Right. So it's like, hey, like we can go do fun things, but just know it's got to be in the budget. I'm not going to go on these huge trips. Get Alex's comment out of here, man.
says cat. I thought it said Crocs and birds.
No,
No.
no, no, no.
So Harrison, I think to kind of follow up on what Gus said earlier, Harrison said that's awesome. I have to make a full presentation with math per property and market for, I guess, his wife. And
Though Gus, when you were talking, it sounded like you were with your wife before you got really successful. Did you guys already have kids, or did you wait to have kids until you popped off?
No, we didn't have kids yet. Well, she has a daughter from a prior situation. So yes, so we did have a kid in the house, but we didn't have kids together as of that particular time. That was a couple years in.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that is because like, for me, I'm like, I'm not gonna have kids while I'm still poor. So it's like I'm just gonna wait until a certain point.
right,
Wow.
Lynn's here to make trouble.
Yeah.
But so
you jumped to it, Mark. You jumped. That hit
well,
like
you know, hey,
and you were like, well,
if we don't bring up the questions that are in the people may not come back, right? So we have to bring up their questions and comments so that they look forward to coming back and interacting with us. I do want to before I bring up Lynn or show Lynn's question, I do want to let everyone know that Gus and I did a podcast on his channel Behind the Door, so definitely go check out his channel. Should be dropping Friday, right?
Yes.
And a lot of people favorite Dr. Joe Asamoah. Joy was on the panel with us. He does Section 8 Tier 1 tenants, and he's also regular on Bigger Pockets. But Gus and I will also be live streaming with Dr. Joe Asamoah next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. But Lynn says, on that note, who should pay on the first date, second date, and third date? And then Frank just follows up prenup, just saying. But who wants to tackle Lynn's question first?
I'll go ahead and answer that. I guess it depends. First of all, I'm happily married, so let me say that first and foremost. But
maybe not after this, though, right?
In my younger days, it depends what the situation is. Is this someone I like? Of course. I'll do 1, 2, 3. But then if I'm doing 1 or 2, I'm looking for that other person to potentially be like, yo, let me get that. You know what I mean? I think any guy's looking for that. The second thing I would say, if I don't like the person and I may like them for other reasons, I'm not paying for. I don't think I'm paying for much. I don't think that's how it works. I think if anything, we're going to, I'm in the drive-through. I might pay for that. $5. What you looking for? Boom. And then all right, I'm done. Curtis, go ahead.
I pay for the first one, but I purposely keep it pretty cheap.
Wait. Curtis doesn't even pay for Uber in Vegas, so he definitely is not paying on the first date.
So when I was a little bit younger, like college, a little bit post-college age, my move would be like to find out where the happy hours were, and then only do those.
Hold on, let's see. I see Jen saying, someone at the meetup told me there's a site that matches W-2 earners with people that can claim rep status. Not sure how true it is, but I'm about to go on and try to find someone to help me retire. Definitely, yeah, that could work. Josh Burdick says, I'm old-fashioned. If I ask her out, I'm paying. Yep.
Yeah, that's if you like it. Oh, I agree with it.
Well, okay. Well, wait. So, I'm assuming you liked her enough to ask her out, right? So, are you saying you're paying?
We're speaking in general, right? First of all, we're speaking in general. Second of all, yes, if I like someone, I'm gonna ask them. I'm gonna ask them on a date, and I'm gonna pay for it. Now, if I don't really like them, but my eyes are telling me something else, and they're controlling the path, I'm not going on a date. I'm just looking, yo, you're gonna be at the club? Cool, I'm gonna be at the club too. Then I'm gonna try, yeah, all right, boom.
Okay, I think that kind of, so Lynn was asking, what is the other reasons? I'm confused. Why are you having dinner with people you don't like?
We're adults, right? I mean, at one point, when you're adult, you do adult stuff. Am I wrong? Kurt, I know you're a teacher. Are you trying to keep this PG? If it is,
I am a health teacher, so I know all about the extracurricular activities, and so and so yeah, I get what you're saying.
Flavio says I prefer a sugar mama. Brett says first men pay, be the man. Oh, okay. Brett says he's also looking to learn more about trust, and that might work just like a prenup, but I have to learn more to know. And then Frank is saying she should pay until she proves herself.
Oh wow.
And Lynn is saying I am asking for dates, romantic pursuits. Okay, so I guess she's clarifying it a little bit. So not just hanging out, Gus, right? So
Okay.
just like, let's say, yeah, you asked her out on a date because you were interested. So I guess it sounds like you would pay, right? The first date.
Yeah. You definitely got to pay.
Yeah.
But
So
when it comes to the third, fourth, or fifth, or sixth, she ain't trying to lift her purse or nothing. I don't know, man. That's kind of, I'm gonna be like, I don't know. we may still leave together, but I'm like, I don't know. I may rethink about this in the morning.
well, I'll put a clip out and then you can respond to the comments on it tomorrow.
No, do not. Yeah, oh my, do not. All right, you know what? Don't collab with me on none of those. Stop doing that.
Josh says if I'm going out with a friend, then we're probably splitting the bill. All right. Kind of going. I mean, this is still making decisions. We're talking about regrets. Can regret actually be a healthy emotion, Curtis?
Yeah, I think it definitely is, because it means that you either learned something since the moment you made the decision, and I think growth in that way is a healthy thing. It also can kind of help shape your future decisions. Hey, if I'm ever in this spot again, this is what I would prefer to do, and I think that's pretty healthy.
Gus, what about you? Is regret can actually be a healthy emotion, you think?
No, I think it's just going to be on your mind, and you're going to wish that you were in that position, what you didn't do. And I think that takes away from the focus on what the things you need to do after you already made the decision. So no, I don't think it's healthy at all.
Now, I think there's a difference between having the feeling and like a rumination, right? Like you can have the feeling of regret. Okay, I wish I had done this, and then you can move on. But I think ruminating or hanging out in that feeling is the issue. That would be unhealthy, like if it's constantly on your mind. But I think if you have an initial feeling and then can process it and move forward, I think that's good.
Yeah, I think I posted it last week. I forget who shared it, but it was kind of like if you can think of all the bad or wrong things that can happen, why can't you think of all the good and great things that can happen, right? So most people, a lot of times they focus on the bad things that could happen, or wrong things that could happen, instead of just trying to realize, hey, shit, all this good stuff could happen also by making this decision, right? Cody Evers, Big Cody, says, what are some of your financial regrets? Ooh, Gus, what about you?
Oh, so when I was so it was when I graduated and I got my first job. Once they told me, yo, you got the job, I was like, all right, cool. So I'm in Maine, I'm out of here. I went to New York and I was like, oh, I want this S500 Mercedes. It was used. So this is 2011, I think. So I went down there. I've been looking all day, and it was a used Mercedes. It had like 150,000 miles. It was something crazy. A horrible buy. So majority of my savings, I brought the car flat out, and I drove it up. I was like the man for like 3 months until that shit started having problems left and right. And I would bring it to the dealership, 5,000. I was like, what the fuck? Bring it to the dealership, 2,000. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm about to be dead poor with this. So that was one of the worst. For 3 months, I was on an all-time high, don't get me wrong. But after that, I was like, this is the dumbest decision I ever made in my freaking life. So that was one of them for sure.
Before Curtis replies, I do want to kind of bring up Flavio's. I know Flavio's joking around, but I also think it's very important, right? Because I think for a lot of people, their decisions in who they marry and things like that could be the biggest financial decision they do make, right? From they talk about divorce happening and setting a lot of people back. But Flavio say, what kind of channel is this? Financing to dating, right? But I think it does relate, right? It comes down to, it's like we're talking about making choices, decisions, but it does impact your finances too, right? But Curtis, did you have any thoughts on the?
Yeah. If I could go back, I'd probably redo it a little bit. But when I originally signed it in college to go play, I was on a scholarship. Basically, had no no bills. And then when life happened and some life issues came up, I transferred to a different school that didn't offer athletic aid. So then I had to take out student loans, which I'm still paying for. So I look at that bill every month like, gosh, if I just would have reconfigured or maybe went to a different school, I wouldn't have this huge loan balance that I got to pay each month. Now, at some point, it will be paid off and it will be done, but still, every month there's that, ooh, that's a big hit.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't talk about it as much now, but definitely, Gus talks about buying a car and this type of stuff. I was always buying. I had like a whole home gym, full gym set up in my garage, and yeah, it's great and all, and it's convenient, but at some point, it's like how many different type of bars to do the same exercise do you really need, and that type of stuff. So I definitely spend a lot of money on that type of things. And when I had to move and things like that, then you realize like, shit, I gotta move all this stuff, or where am I gonna put it, and gotta sell it off for like pennies on the dollar kind of thing, right? So I don't have to lug it around. But definitely that, so definitely, it would have been a problem if maybe I had my finances all in order and it was like the rentals were paid for the equipment, right? But it was this buying these things and where I could have invested, where that money, shit, I probably could have bought a house in cash in Pittsburgh or something, right? Small, right? But things like that, right?
So most of us said liabilities like a car, or I guess weights could be seen as an investment. We actually got to like use them. But are there any assets that you regret?
Yeah, so I started getting on the roll of buying properties, and I think this is probably the one property I do reflect on it and say it wasn't a good buy. So when I got on the roll, I was getting big headed, and I was able to get this opportunity. It was an 1800s home. It was pretty big, and I was like, you know what, I could take it down. I just took down the last one, boom. So we get into the property. It was a shit show. And I'm happy I was able to even survive it. I was supposed to buy to keep it to rent. I was forced to sell just on how much money we dumped into it. So I would say that was granted, I was still in the green, nowhere near where I wanted to be. I had one drug. Well, man, I gotta stop being so transparent. I got one contractor who stole my money. He stole my money, like not stole it like I had it and he took it out of my hand. Like I was so naive to the whole process. He was like, yeah, meet me at Home Depot and I got all the materials, just pay for the materials and then give me my money. And it was like 75-80% up front. And I was like, oh, I could just pay for the material. I'm not confident at this time. Maybe I could just pay for the material. He's like, nah, bro, this is how we do it. So I went down there, paid for the materials. He had these, when I went to the house, he had all his goon squad there. Like one dude showed up in a little moped. I was like, what the fuck is going on? They were all, and I say this respectfully, they were all crackheads. And they're drilling in the drywall, and I'm just, if you ask my wife, that was the worst I've ever been as far as a rehab, because I didn't know where we were going, if we were going to hit the finish line. So that project right there made me look at rehabs in a whole different way. If I don't have the guys, or if it's an older home, stay the fuck away from it. You can't do everything. So that was a learning experience for myself.
So I want to remind everyone, Gus and Curtis are also streaming live right now. So go jump over there, like, subscribe. Go check out some of my shorts. I don't know what's going on. There's the ones I put out recently are getting like 1 view, 4 view with Zuber. So I don't know if something's going on with that. It's weird. It's super weird. But Alex, the accidental investor, said, I found my wife before I realized I was a real estate investor. I'm glad it worked that way because she helps us by doing the things I hate doing. Huh? That's very good. Lucky you found her. Yeah.
Hey, can I say something about Favi's comment?
Which one?
The one he said, is this the financial?
Oh, yeah. Let me go put it back.
I want to say 2 things. One, Mark would never have these conversations if Brandon was still here. Brandon was still here on Tuesday. That's number 1. 2, I think all of this co-aligns with each other. Now, don't get me wrong. If we start talking about this every week, then I'm gonna be like, what the fuck is going on? But to incorporate some real estate and some reality of life that comes along with it, because a spouse, how Mark just asked me those questions, a spouse is definitely a big factor as far as investing. And me being an agent, and then I'm speaking with these guys that want to invest, he's like, man, it's gonna be a hard sell for my girl to move into this apartment. And I'm like, man, you need to dump her. That's what I want to say. Because these guys are 20 years, like 22, 23 years old, and they're ready to take these next steps, and they'll sacrifice for the long term. But they're let me not say guys. I'm sorry. Let me go. I know how Mark gets.
It's too late. You already said it.
I just clipped it. I took notes on the timestamp.
I'm gonna have a note right here, Mark. But no, you meet these younger couples, and one party wants to go ahead and do the house hack, and the other party was like, "Oh, I don't like it. I just want to get a house." And I'm like, "Do you know how much more your life's going to be in a better predicament down the line if you sacrifice now at the being 20 compared to living in a home is overrated." Let's keep it honest. Especially as a couple, you're living in your own home. Cool. Well, you're going to have your friends over. Cool. You have to pay that whole note. That whole note is your responsibility at the end of the day. You can't tell me living in an apartment. I'm going to use this word for anyone who doesn't know what it is. Hit me on the back end. Thugging it out until you get to a particular age, and now you're reaping all the benefits. Hey, look, I got 3-4 units because we were able to go ahead and use the FHA or the conventional loans to get these properties. Now I can move into my primary home. Now we're making money at the same time. So when I see some of these younger couples and one party isn't with them, what I really want to tell them, you need to leave them. or you need to do a better job as far as explaining what you're trying to do.
Yeah, like I don't think there is a way that I could have convinced, if I was living with a partner at the time I did my first house hack, I don't think there's a way I could have convinced this person to live in 200 square feet with no shower, no kitchen. I think that would have been a really hard sell that I don't think I could have pulled off. But that's really set me up very well. And so I'm grateful that I wasn't partnered at that time, so I didn't have to go through that. But yeah, I think there are versions of house hacking that can work, right? Like PTO for Life, they pulled it off. I'm not really sure on how they did that, but the house hacking with a partner, there's multiple ways, right? Like you could do like the other unit, but like the more intense ways, like roommates or sectioning parts of the house off, those definitely take another level of commitment.
Kurt, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
If a girl said yes, and you brought that idea to, we're gonna live in this situation, this is going on, and she's like, babe, I trust you. You better put the fucking ring on right there, bro.
Yeah.
If she's willing to go through all that, she deserved to reap the benefits in the long term, in my opinion.
Yep. That's why I think Jeff and Suleika work well together, right? So like Suleika, I mean, I'm sure, I think she said it. She doesn't enjoy house hacking or living with all these different people, but if you see her Instagram, she's enjoying the benefit. Like she's traveling, they're doing all these trips and things like that, right? So she does reap the benefits. So I think that's how you balance it out. But kind of even I have a fire captain that retired, and at the time we were always like, what the hell is this guy doing? That he had 2 young kids, like, so that was kind of his thought process too. He had 2 young kids at the time, and they had a house, but they lived in one room. Him, the wife, and like these 2 or 3 little kids, and we're just like, what is this guy doing? He has a house, and he's like cramming himself into this one bedroom. And then now, whatever, I probably met him, 10, 12 years before in my career, and then yeah, he's retired. He has stock portfolio, real estate, but at the time you're just like, what is he doing? Why is he putting himself through that? But at the same time, he also said, he divorced someone before that, and it's like, but yeah, of course, it was the spouse he found was willing to do that also, so like it worked out for him, right? So I think that's a very key point. So I think a lot of people do have that feeling too. So like Chris is commenting, yeah, yes, relationships, whether for romance or our ROI, have a big effect on our growth. He follows up with regret ruminated is a trap, but if analyzed and isolated to get some perspective or a lesson for future growth can be a positive. Yeah. Josh Burdick says, I've been married for 27 years. My wife has been my most important joint venture. Yeah. Congratulations, man. 27 is a long time, man.
Nice.
Flavio says, Curtis, you deserve a girl in the same real estate journey.
Well, taking applications, so the DMs are open, so go for it.
Alex says, I'm with Gus on that one. I actually made sure that my wife was on board with my investing before I proposed, and the rest is history. I try to avoid talking about unwritten history. Ah, very good. Flavio says, Curtis, it is possible. Wait, when I married my wife, we only have a mattress, no table, no sofa.
Yeah, that's nice because I've never even owned a couch.
Ah, Janelle. See, Janelle, you gotta come up. We gotta put this on a shirt. You go to Frank's channel or page, make a custom shirt, OWrap shirt that says, gotta find a gold digger, not a gold digger. Ah, I like that. Chris Webb says, for those not married, make sure they can cook. I always give Chris shit because every year he says he's coming to Vegas and he has a list of like places he wants to eat and he never shows up in Vegas. But let's see, Janelle, I recommend old ladies with money. Janelle, they both have something going on. Wait, they both have something going on. Offer as long as you don't get them mixed up. Oh yeah, definitely. Anything else? You guys want to touch on another clip, or you guys have more stuff you want to talk about? Regrets, decisions. There's a lot more.
Yes, it depends what clip you talk
about. Okay. Well, how about maybe we'll go with can overthinking become more dangerous than making a bad decision?
Yeah, I would say so because some people that overthink tend to not even get to the decision part, right? They're just thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, or trying to make plans, or thinking of doing this or thinking of doing that, but they never actually do it. Whereas I think if you just make a mistake when you do make a decision, majority of the time it's not going to be catastrophic. Like it's not going to upend your whole life, right? Like it might suck for that time being, but it's not going to, as long as it doesn't upend your entire life, then you'll be all right.
Gus, what about you?
I think it depends on the person. Because I don't know if you guys ever met people who overthink everything, but that's what makes them great. You know what I mean? That's their trait that makes them great, when they overthink everything. So you may say, I don't know, I'm using something for the example. Yo, did you know that house on Main Street, someone just passed away? They'll take that information and it's like a Rubik's Cube to them, and they'll start twisting it. Next thing you know, like 2 days later, they're like, yeah, I put an offer on that house. I was wanted to be able to help them out. And because they overthought that one piece of information that you gave them. So I think there's people that exist like that. But for just for majority of the people, I think if you overthink, you're going to get away from what your true answer or what the true answer is. But I think there are special people. You want to know a person, as I talk more and more with him, Cody is a person. I don't think he overthinks things, but I think he thinks about things deeply. And how, if this scenario happens, So he has like 2-3 scenarios out of 5 scenarios he originally happens. So to me, I just think some people, it makes them better. To the general public, I think overthinking can help you. Hurt you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's like, are they being analytical, like they're thinking it through, or overthinking is they've already thought about it, but now they're digging into even more stuff, and they're not even trying to get to that decision point.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw my post that's on Facebook, Gus, and it was kind of to what you just kind of mentioned. So I shared this thing. It says, "I'm in love with this sentence. If you can overthink the worst, why can't you overthink the best?" And then, of course, people comment on it and things like that. And there was this one individual that was calling me like, "Fucking, you're an idiot," and that's no, but so of course I said, like, overthinking is not the same as thinking to some extent. But then the person kind of came back a few times like, oh, I apologize. I didn't mean to be like, um, aggressive kind of thing. But he goes, I guess this person's stance was them growing up, they went through some hard times and some situations I don't want to mention, but they said for them, overthinking is because of their upbringing. There was like a lot of fear associated with things. So they use overthinking as like a safety mechanism to make sure they're not getting into a bad situation. So to go like Gus was saying, right, certain people, the overthinking, I mean, maybe we see it as overthinking, but for them, that's how they process things because of something that may have happened to them in their past, right?
Yeah, and I think there's also the argument for the other side is that I come from areas where I feel like a lot of people underthink. Like they don't think things through. It's like, what is going through your mind to make that decision? And so I think some people should think a little bit more at times.
100%.
Yeah, kind of to that little bit off, but I think I don't know which thumbnail you used. I forget, Curtis, but I don't know if yours was the grass isn't greener. I know there was multiple thumbnails, but to that point, I noticed that I am hard on my son. Like I am hard on him, and sometimes I'm to Curtis's point, like sometimes people don't think, and I'm like sometimes like, what the fuck are you doing that for? But then when I see him around his friends, I'm like, damn, you're a good kid. Like, what I'm just like, okay, that's just normal. Like kids his age, like 99 out of 100 of them are behaving this way. They're doing the same thought process kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, okay, that makes sense to me, and I'm like, okay, you're a damn good kid. It's just when you're by yourself, maybe my expectations are higher, and I wish you would do things maybe a little bit differently. But then when I see him around other people his age, I'm like, oh shit, all right, like so it's good to put that in perspective, and the grass is not always green. Maybe I want him to be a certain way, but then when I see the big picture and see him around his peers, I'm just like, oh, okay, like he's good.
Mark, that means that shit is working. Whatever you're doing, that means it's working. That was an example of it working. When you see him out there, him being a good kid, that's because you're at home saying this, that, and the third. So if you were never to do that, and I'm not saying this about your kid, I'm just saying in general, you may have saw him out in public acting the way, acting a whole different way. I think us as parents, what sometimes we don't acknowledge as much is our words are super influential to these kids. And when we say something is bad, they may not like. Something happened yesterday with my kid, and I had to let him know. I was like, "Yo, don't do that shit." And I didn't say in that type of language, but I was like, "Yeah, man, don't do that." And this is why. And then his sister did it later on, and he's like, "Dad." First of all, he was snitching, but anyways, it's fine. But he was like, "Dad, Zuri did X, Y, and Z. That's not good because I remember you told me." And I was like, "All right, cool. Hopefully, this information, this little conversation we had, travels on when he's in school and I'm not there, and he's thinking about those things." So, Mark, you're doing a wonderful job if that's what you saw, and and that's what you thought after.
Yeah. I just want to thank you guys because as a teacher, I wish more parents were like that because I see the full spectrum. I see parents like you that are on top of it, telling kids what to do, what values to kind of have, and then I see the other side of where the parents aren't really parenting or instilling certain values or beliefs or behaviors, and then you talk to the kid, you're like, oh, and then you're like, oh, I get it. Okay, I see why you're acting like this.
Lynn is saying a defense mechanism can become maladaptive.
I had to look that up because I didn't know what that shit meant. And it's I'm just being honest. Yeah, I ain't know.
No.
I'm a hustler, but so basically, it's harmful to an individual's well-being. So if they're okay, I can see that to a degree.
Hey, Yasik's here. I don't know if I saw him comment earlier, but I forget where Yasik is what part of the world he is in right now. But he's definitely enjoying a nice trip. I think he was Poland the last I heard, but he tunes in whenever he can. I'm gonna play.
Mark, can I ask Curtis a question?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Curtis, where do you teach? What city?
I teach. The closest one you might know is like Tacoma. It's like an hour south of Seattle. I'm in a more mixed area though, so it's like half of our kids are like urban kids, and then half of them are like country. So it's a really interesting dynamic, and we're the second largest school in our county. We have 960 kids, sixth through eighth grade.
Okay. I asked that because I didn't know this, and it leads back to a podcast I saw with you and Mark. And Mark, the conversation was based around public school, and you are a representative of a school, so you didn't really give an answer. But for someone who went to public school, so in the area I grew up, it's a tough area, you know what I mean? And I went to public school and I went to private school. Now that's the problems that come with each one are different. You know, private school, you may have rich kids, you ain't rich enough, and they make fun of you for that, or they're getting involved in drugs because their parents got the money to get these like better drugs, things along those lines. And the public school, and this is the first time, and I went to public school a little later for 1 year, and because we moved new to our area, this is the first time I ever seen this. I went to class, and the teacher said something. We were learning about Beowulf or something, the literature book. And he's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. And I said, what? I said, what is going on? So, and then I look in the class. No, half the class ain't listening. That's first of all. They're playing dice in the back. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And I'm telling my dad, like, yo, public school kind of crazy. And I know people are going to be like, oh, he's this, that, and the third. I'm just giving you my honest opinion. The public school was, the first day I went, the Spanish kids fought the black kids in the hallway. It was a big rumble in the hallway. I say, so I asked, like, I'm new once again. I'm like, yo, what happened? He said some things you're not supposed to say, but they said, yeah, we've been having problem with the Spanish people. I'm like, so black people and Spanish people aren't getting along just because they're from two different, and I'm sure all the Spanish people are not even the same type of Spanish. I like, what's going on there? So it's just, I don't know. It's weird a little bit.
Yeah. Your public school experience is not far off from what it was when I was a student. Because I remember in eighth grade, we also had that black and Mexican brawl.
You sure you guys don't want me to play that clip?
You know what? Play it right now. I'm just not going to say shit, or I'm going to say it in 2 sentences, then I'm going to stop. So I didn't get cut.
All right. We'll play it and we'll see what happens and see how it goes. All right. So I thought this was an interesting one. But
Mark knew who his guests were about to be, so he saved this one.
Or maybe the algorithm saw who my guests were, and then this clip popped up on my feed. But we'll just play it real quick.
I love when the black community says, let's boycott Asian businesses. Please do. We'll get rid of the Chinese takeout, the dry cleaners, the laundromats. Let's get rid of the liquor stores as well. Get rid of the Jordans you guys wear, the Nikes you wear, the shower caps, the Hondas, the Hyundais, all your car electricians. the electronics in your house, the Sony, the TV system, your sound system, the microphones that you guys use to rap and speak about awareness for the black culture and the hip hop culture. Where do you think that's made in? That's made all in Asia. And here's another thing for you guys. You guys want us to leave the neighborhood so bad? Oh, Asian people are not neighborhoods? We're in white neighborhoods. We have our own Chinatown. We have our own Koreatown. You think we really need you guys to benefit off and make money? A lot of us do go to college as well. You're being outworked by immigrants who barely speak English. And you're not embarrassed? Go to the bank, start your own businesses, and deal with your own people. I want to see your own women get on their hands and knees and do pedicures and manicures and deal with nasty ass attitudes, okay? Please, boycott Asian business. I'm all for it.
All right. Who wants to go first?
Gus looks so excited. Gus looks so...
I think we can just really focus more on the kind of like the hard work aspect of things, right? I think we're just overall spectrum of where our country is right now. Right?
I'll bring a thing up because I love the house hacking, so I'll kind of take that angle. So when I graduated from college, I went and lived back home with my mom for a year and a half. Right now, my mom's white. But in like the black community, as soon as you turn 18, a lot of them are trying to push you out or make you pay some type of bill. Asian communities will have 3 generations living in one house. They're like, all right, hey, we got kids, parents, grandparents, right, all in one house. So I think there's also a cultural thing there too, where they all may even work for the same business. They're all trying to stack their money up. Their bills are less. Whereas in the black culture, it's more like, hey, you got to do your own thing. You got to make it. There's an unnecessary struggle there.
Gus?
I would say watching that video that Marc put out there, I got to put myself in that guy's shoes. And put myself in his shoes. If I'm of Asian descent and I am told that especially if I own businesses, I don't know if he owned businesses, but if I own business and they're going to be boycotted, I'm going to feel a certain type of way. Now, the way he went about it is to say, hey, if you boycott, I don't give a fuck. And if you boycott, you better do all these things yourself. With that being said and done, I don't know how. With that being said and done, I think the people receiving the message, because I don't boycott anyone, but I guess I'm part of a group, no matter what. I don't take anything that he says in any type of way. He's speaking because we're saying we're going to boycott his business. And he's saying, F y'all do it yourselves. We're good regardless. Cool. I'm thinking, all right, so if they're not going to do it, let's go do it ourselves. Let's go ahead and try to figure out. That's how I'm taking it. I think sometimes we give words too much power. And whatever he just went on the rant. He was feeling whatever type of way he was feeling. It is what it is. Now, one thing he said, I want to highlight, is immigrants are coming over here and taking opportunities because they're busting their ass. And they're knowing what's here in this country, while you guys are, and when I say you guys, I'm just talking about the general population, not a particular race. You guys are just being somewhat lazy. To that, from me being first generation, my father being an immigrant, I don't know. I talked to a lot of immigrants. They come over here. They said, this is our time to go ahead and shine. We know where we're from, how it is. We're seeing this whole country as some gold. Where if you talk to some other people who were born in this country, what I hear sometimes is things are unfair. Instead of grabbing the bull by the horn, and I'll just leave it like that. I won't get any deeper into it. Curtis, what do you think?
No, I like the path that you were going down. I don't talk about it too much, but on my father's side, they are from like the Caribbean, and they came here for a better life. But I say that because during the 4th of July, I was hanging out with some girl and her family, and they're all white, and then the mom was kind of popping off about like hating on America just a little bit, and then she looked at me like for support of like the issues, and I'm like, it's pretty great here. We have a lot of opportunity. I've heard the stories of other places. I'm good. I'd much rather be here than over there. And my life is pretty good. I'm well educated. I have a job. I'm buying the real estate as a young Black man, and so it's kind of one of those things where it's like I don't always agree with some of the thoughts that are out there.
And another thing, we got to stop being brainwashed to think one particular way. Mm-hmm. How you evolve as a person is you get around all different types of people. And then you're more able to make a logic thought and opinions about particular things. If you're stuck and pigeonholed and you're in an echo chamber, how are you ever supposed to grow? You're only going to be always going to be one-sided. That's just my thoughts. So when I say these things, so when I was younger and I used to say these things, I'll use that as an example. So my father, he was an immigrant. My mom was from the South. She obviously she moved up here. So her perspective was one perspective on life. My father's perspective is stay focused on the goal. And it doesn't matter who's in the way. If you outwork them, you'll get what you want. So I got two different perspectives from my parents. So taking those two different perspectives, and I was in a private school, where there was probably me, my brothers, and probably like two other people that looked like us. So I'm looking around, I'm like, oh shit. Everyone's like, yo, we just watched Seinfeld, was so funny last night. And I was like, damn, I was just watching Martin last night. And no one even like, Martin, what's that? I'm like, all right, cool. All right. So, but what I am able to go ahead and do, instead of being that I was able to go ahead and understand, instead of being with everyone that would be an echo chamber, I was able to hear other opinions from the other side that we tend to talk about and say, this is what they're thinking. So I'm in a classroom with a bunch of kids that are supposed to be the other side of me. And it's supposed to be like, yo, they're racist, this, that, and the third. But some of these kids are my best friends. Like, so the parents are like picking me up after school. Yo, Gus, do you want to do this, that, and the third? I'm like, so I go back to the city because my dad, when he first came over here, he worked like 3 jobs. We were in Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you know anything about Bridgeport, Connecticut, it was not safe back then. We lived there first. Then he started making traction and getting successful. Then we moved to the suburbs. So when I go back to the city, I'm trying to give opinions like, yeah, they're not that, you know, they're not that, they're not bad at all. Let me make that better. They're not bad at all. They're pretty cool. And they're like, oh, you brainwashed. Da, 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 da. I'm like, brainwashed? I said, my man, you never even left this corner of the street. Yo, so how are you telling me I'm brainwashed when I'm getting around different types of people? And I think when you're not getting that exposure, you're not getting that knowledge. You're not getting that firsthand knowledge of knowing those people, and not saying they're all good or they're all bad. Everyone's their own individual person. And sometimes we got to stop thinking just because of this, that tells the whole story. That doesn't tell the whole story. The whole story. All right, I'm done.
You know, but yeah, I think this could have went in many different directions, but I think you guys took it in the right direction in a positive way. And I think I like what kind of Gus initially touched on is kind of, you know, there's those that would have saw that clip, or people may see that clip and look at how they're going to take advantage of it. Like Gus is saying, if they're going to boycott these business, now there's all these business opportunities maybe for a certain community to come up with and start, right? But there's others that are going to get upset about that clip and think a certain way about it, right? So I think that's the important part too, is, you know, how you kind of view something and see opportunities, and how you're going to take advantage of it. Harrison does ask though, and maybe even both of you can touch on, but he says, Curtis, are Gen Alpha as bad as that video says?
Gen Alpha. I will say it's kind of like a reverse bell curve, right? We often think of the bell curve as there's a lot in like the middle, but it's kind of reversed. There's super awesome kids that are on top of it. You're like, oh wow, like you're creating things, you're thinking, you're doing everything that you would want a kid to kind of do. And then you have the other side. It's like, is anyone even guiding you or raising you? Like, why did you think that was okay? Like, I don't remember ever seeing that behavior when I was a kid or thinking that was okay. So I think we're kind of seeing this inverse happen. And when talking to the other teachers that have been around for much longer, they had said it was that they started to see a shift when COVID happened and kids had to go like on to online school and they were at home all day. They said that was the biggest shift of seeing that divide start to happen.
Gus, did you have any thoughts on that? Or but Harrison does say this was a great response. We all stand with each other and build each other up.
About Gen A.
Yes.
I don't. What? How old is Gen A? I'm not. Maybe I'm tapped out. I don't know. Who's Gen A? What age range? Kids?
I think it's like what was it, like early 2000s to now? Like I think if it's like they're under 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can't even speak to that. I'm not running into many. And if I do run into a good one, I'm trying to have them cut my grass or be my movers. So
have y'all seen those teen takeovers on social media?
No.
Oh man, you guys got to look it up. It's crazy. It's craziness. It's a lot of urban youth that 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 like all show up at one location and just like take over, and it's just nuts.
Harrison says age 3 to 18.
Yeah.
Okay, so my kids would be in there. I don't know. My kids is bad as hell, but I still love them.
What was I gonna say? There was, like I said, go jump over to. Oh, go ahead, Gus.
Yeah, what was that comment? It said, hold on. It said the white privilege.
Oh, yeah, says white privilege rubbing off.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy right there. I would love to go into that deeper, but I can't do that on a public platform. But go ahead.
We'll do a members only. You'll go over that.
Not if you're gonna do clips. No, we ain't. No, we are not. No, we are not. I think that's a problem. I can't just come in here and say the truth, or my truth at least, because I got to be worried what the audience thinks to a degree. If I go here and say, boom, 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 no, I feel like the only person that can go ahead and say what they really think is like the president, Dana White, and for sure.
Hold on. Guess at what point do you think you could? Is there like a financial point where you're like, hey, it doesn't matter with what I say because I got it?
Yeah, I think that plays a factor into it. You know, I'm still within the community and still doing business. So maybe if I had like $1 billion in the bank, I probably wouldn't give a fuck. I would just say all my thoughts right here and we would have aired it out. But I think I have to keep it to a certain level. But, you know, that sucks. You know, people want to hear the real. They don't, you know, they don't want to hear the fake. You know, there's a guy on my news feed. I won't even bring his name up. But this guy says some of the off the wall shit. It's not even off the wall. Some of the in your face type of stuff. But when you really listen to his message, and if you're open-minded, this is the key part. You got to be open-minded. You can't be one-track minded and just been with an echo chamber your whole life. You're not going to understand. But if you're open-minded, all right, let's get past the part that with the shock factor and let's listen to the message that was said. To me, that's what I like to hear. And I was like, yo, look at this. Look what he said. And they're so appalled that the first part was said, they shut it out. Like, it doesn't matter what he said. I don't want to listen to it. And I'm like, but some of the shit is somewhat true. But, you know, I guess you can't tell the truth on here.
So I was just saying, go ahead, Gus. Just say it's already canceled this channel, so might as well. But Alex does say, Gus, we build relationships with being true, honest, and unfiltered.
To a degree, yes, we do.
Yeah, we can do that offline. Like as a public school employee, there are some things that I will not say on camera. But you wait till I retire or catch me offline.
Like I said, man, this is always fun doing this with you guys. Curtis, I like when you're on your spring or summer vacation. We can get you on more often. Have you guys heard about the Vegas event coming up in January? Have you guys heard kind of what the format's going to be and things like that?
Yeah,
No.
I've heard you talk about it in the week, but I'm sure you're about to dive into it.
Isn't Gus speaking or something?
No.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I saw two speakers on the earlier live stream with Gus, Cody, and Emily. So one of them was not, and you can talk about white privilege and stuff. But yes, one was not going to speak. But no, we'll see. I mean, yeah, I'm sure at some point Gus will be a presenter at the ORAD event. But who knows? It could be this. I don't really know the whole setup. What was that, Gus?
It's gonna be too raw for the ORAD.
Yeah. So, Kurt, if you there's going to be no questions from after the presenters. There's going to be kind of a more interaction, I believe, for the VIP this year. There's going to be a lot more. There's going to be a live stream podcast studio. So I think they're planning to live stream some content, and there's going to be like live audience involved. No dinner on Saturday anymore, so the day's not going to go as long. Yeah, and then so.
Well, let's not act like our day won't still go long, though. I mean.
Yeah, but I think that actually works because now you're kind of not committed to stay there, right? I think it's it's good to get out this way, right? And kind of get out.
Are you gonna do the VIP?
Yeah, I'll do the VIP.
If you have a belt, do you get a discount or?
Your belt's about to be taken away because you have to be active in school for it. You have to make one post a week at least, and you haven't been there, so your belt might be up for auction pretty soon.
Hey, oh man.
Alex does say, I'm afraid to be authentic and humorous because I'll offend people around me. It was different where I grew up and in the military. Yeah. Harrison is saying, Gus, you should create a video series of your thoughts for your family. When you get to the point where you don't care, release all the videos.
That's like, nah. No, I don't think that's a bad idea. But yeah, when we get closer to that, and I could just say, screw everyone's opinions. Of course, yeah, I'm down for that.
Oh, I see Janitor on Fire here. I'm not sure if you're still here, but I do want to let you know that the episode with Dr. Joe Asamo will be dropping on Gus's channel this Friday. And Joe Asamo has confirmed he'll be live streaming with Gus and I next Tuesday. So Janitor on Fire is a huge fan of Dr. Joe. He thinks he is the best, and hands down, he's the best. So Janitor on Fire, better see you there next week.
Mark, with that, with Joseph, so I didn't have much prior knowledge to him before. I did see he did some stuff here and there. Even on that particular podcast, the way he broke down answers, it's like he slowed everything down and he broke down his answers, and it had you thinking. Like after he broke down those answers, I was like, wait, who the heck is this guy? So I had to dive in more into him and see some of the great things that he's doing. See, he did a phenomenal job on the podcast.
Yeah, good thing I knew who he was. So Gus just brings people on, and good thing I knew who Dr. Joe was. But
no,
Gus,
I didn't know he was as big as you told me. That I did not know.
Yeah. So and just I was lucky to be on there since Gus asked me about an hour before the podcast if I could jump on. So
Curtis, you hear this shit?
I gladly did it. And then he edits me out. Gus said I am the only person he's had to edit me in his podcast episodes twice now.
That's not surprising.
Oh shit, that's crazy. Yeah. Curtis, don't let him brainwash you. He's lying.
Quickly though, so both of you can answer this though. Will you guys both be going VIP? You think? What's your guys' thoughts?
I got to see what the price difference is. At the moment, I'm bleeding some cash trying to run these new ads, and so I don't have a lot of extra money to be thrown around. If it's close, I might just splurge and do it. If it's not close, we'll see.
So basically, what I hear is you're going VIP, but do not ride Uber with you because you're not going to be paying for any of them.
Hey man, last time I paid for Uber. Okay, let the record show.
Gus, have you ever did rideshare Uber? It's a different experience. Curtis will show you how.
Okay, so Gus, on Uber, when you go to order it, there's all these different options, right? Like Uber X, Uber XL. Well, there was a cheaper option. I said, oh, you know what? It's just me. Let me choose that one. And I didn't know that it was kind of like a bus. Like this Uber would go around and pick up different people. And so I get in the car. There's like, oh, there's another person here. All right, like that's fine. And then when they pick up the third person, which happens to be another black person, as soon as they get in the car, the driver changes the station from whatever to hip hop. He changes it to hip hop. I'm like, oh, what the hell, man?
Not me.
But we're like, where is Curtis? I swear he's catching us. Like, I guess he went all over picking up these different people.
Yeah, I think it's actually like 15 minutes.
What is that?
How much is the VIP?
Off the top of my head, what was the regular? Do you remember what the regular was? $199 and $499, maybe something like that.
Ish.
Yeah. So Harrison says, yeah, Joe Osamo is from my neck of the woods and a true legend. Yeah. So just quickly, so those of you who may not know him, he's been a regular on Bigger Pockets. I believe he may have spoke at BPCon one year. He does a weekly Wednesday live. He also he does Section 8 in a expensive market, so he's very big on, he calls it tier 1 tenants. So he talked about having a tenant that stayed like 30 years, and he had a property that was like on a 15-year mortgage. So basically, the tenant paid it off for him, and the tenant just pays him now. But he's definitely big on so he, a lot of times Section 8 gets a bad reputation maybe, but he does it in an expensive market, tier 1 tenants. He buys like Christmas gifts for them. He buys like Mother's Day presents, things like that. But he looks ways to add value to a property, especially because Section 8 is based on room count. So he'll find a property where he can add another bedroom. So you get that different rent increase. But yeah, he'll podcast dropping Friday on Gus's channel, and Gus and I will be live streaming with him next Tuesday.
I'm glad I was able to introduce you, Mark.
Yes, and I did mention to Dr. Joe that I reached out to him before, and he never returned my email. So I don't know if it was just, I don't want to get into anything, but he maybe Gus's profile was on the email and he responded to that one, but he didn't respond to me.
No.
But Janelle, tickets are not on sale yet. Typically it'll be August 1st, but I believe Zuber is going to offer them in school early. So if you're not in the school community, VIP, I could see VIP tickets selling out quickly if he's offering these new things. So definitely. Smoke detector, what's that?
Oh, there's a you guys must not see it on your social media feed, but there is this thing where Black people will just let their smoke detector go off. And what's funny is I actually took mine down, so I just said F it because I was tired of hearing the beat.
But that is true, because when I had my own apartment, my wife now, but she was my girlfriend at the time. She would come over. She's like, "That doesn't bother you?" And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "That chirping." I was like, "What chirping?" I was like, "Oh, I don't even pay attention to that." She's like, "Oh, that would drive me freaking nuts," and I didn't know that was like a thing until I started seeing stuff on social media. I was like, "Oh."
Janitor on Fire, here is Gus's YouTube channel, so definitely go jump over there, subscribe, and follow him there. I'll put Curtis's channel right after this also. But yeah, if this channel is not canceled by then, we will probably be having a giveaway. Last year Curtis participated with me, and we did some giveaways on my channel. So we gave away a VIP ticket, we gave away some of the ORAT shirts that Frank makes. We gave some Dion books away, right? I believe, Curtis. I believe it might be for members only this year. We might do it that way. So there might be only like 5 people with a chance. So everybody should walk away with a prize. Chris is Spider-Man. Oh, you guys know what that's in reference to? Chris, can you chime in a little bit more on that?
I haven't seen it, but if Flavio's right and VIP is $700, I am not going. I'm not being the VIP.
Josh says spicy show today. But there's Curtis's channel, also janitor. If you're not subscribed to Curtis's channel. Harrison says he is a member. Flavio says he will win. Yes. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to bring up before we wrap things up today? So like I said, Gus, your next episode will be Friday, right? Curtis, what's next for your channel?
I'm having 2 videos drop this week. There's one more of a basic market update. You guys don't have to watch that one. The second one will be good though. I'm going to be showing, at least in my area, the cost for like if someone wanted a house hack versus buy a home. Kind of like show the side by side.
Oh, that's right. I asked you if you want to live stream on Saturday, I believe, but you had some event you're a part of, right?
Yeah, I was hoping with the Washington Real Estate Investing Group, they were holding a mobile home investing masterclass. And so I've volunteered to kind of help set things up, make sure technology is going good. There was about 8 people that paid to be there. It was two full days. Plus, those that paid also get mentorship throughout the year. But it was really awesome because I've never even looked at that asset class before, but it was awesome.
Oh, Chris, he was trying to do like the Spider-Man meme pointing at it. Yeah.
So Curtis, your podcast is pretty good. That's when I first heard Delroy's story.
Oh yeah.
And then the lady, she's a member of what's the group in ORAP for the ladies?
I think that was Amelia.
Yes, I saw that episode too. You're doing good stuff over there.
Thanks, man.
And on that point, the ladies' call, just to let everyone know, has moved to Saturday. I believe Amelia and Jen are having a hard time with the Wednesday time slot, so they've moved it to Saturday. I believe 7 a.m. Pacific is when the ladies of ORAT call goes right now. But yeah, Brett, like I said, Brett is still here. Like I said, he's a firefighter out in Wisconsin. He said, I believe as you, Curtis, taking your smoke detector down, he said, as a firefighter. It's like, ooh. We call that job security in our field, but
well, the tenant above me still has theirs on, so if there's a fire, then someone will hear it.
Looks like you got subscriber 189, Gus from Janitor on Fire. He's out in the Texas area. He works for the Postal Service. He could be retired right now. I'm not quite sure. I know he was close to his retirement or doing retirement, but. Lynn is asking, Curtis, did you decide to join Thatch's program?
While that program is fantastic and I highly recommend it, I have not. I kind of have. I currently have some funds that I want for my next deal. Right. I know a bunch of members in that group that said that they would help me if I run across a problem. So I'm gonna take that help for free.
Curtis should have a live with Gus. I have a great idea.
Curtis, you don't gotta spend. Isn't that shit like $15K or some dollars?
It's like 10K. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. If you got the connections. I mean, let's keep it honest. If you got the connection, and do not clip this. Hey, do not clip. Yeah, but if you got the connections off of some of the branches off of him, and take that shit, and then learn through them. I know Ray, my buddy Ray. He's in that community.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it worked for what he was looking to accomplish. But he said there's other ways. Let me shut the fuck up.
I get what you are saying there. I think if you go in there, you have like a mission and you're really dialed in for a certain thing, I think it can work. I've networked very well through running these events and things like that. That I have enough people rooting for me in my corner, and yeah, and I'll just use them.
I'll totally agree with Alex's comment. He says Gus is bringing in some new perspectives from other communities.
From one particular community.
Wait, what is that? Wait, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Alex, do you want to clarify yourself a little bit more? Flavio says, Lynn, I found a thatch hack. I believe he probably is referencing having Justin Cambra in our community. And I'm not even sure, is she still, have you checked recently, Gus? Is Sabrina still in the community? I'm not sure. Sabrina is also big in Thatch's community, so she's also a great resource. Janitor
in forever.
For no for in the school community. Is she still in? Yeah, so I'm not. Janitor Fire says Dion is his neighbor now. Weird. Yeah,
man, Janitor on Fire, I am upset because he used to be mine, and so he would help me with projects, but I have to zoom him in now. I have to walk around and show him.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, Dion. I saw the mighty community message already. So Dion will be live streaming today at 4 p.m. Pacific. Yasik says Gus already is the highest viewed clip on Marc's channel. Yasik says what? Can you, Gus gotta open the mind up and pocketbook. Okay. Well, like I said, this was a fun one. I think we got into a lot of good discussion here. There was a lot of laughs also, but hopefully people got a great takeaway from it. And looks like Gus, everyone's going to be looking forward to the episode dropping on Friday. I believe it comes out 9:30 Pacific.
I'm doing 12. Oh, okay. I don't know that.
Oh,
Eastern time is 12:30.
Okay, yeah. So 12:30 Eastern, I think 9 a.m. Pacific should be dropping on Gus's channel. Like I said, we will be live streaming next Tuesday with Dr. Joe Asamoah, 11 a.m. Eastern, and try to get Curtis on before school gets back into session. Tomorrow, live streaming with Joe and Lauren, and we're gonna have Joseph Cacciapalia on. He's in the school community. He is a kind of a 30 years investing in San Antonio area. He was doing fractional real estate, and he had a channel pretty big on fractional real estate, but he has stepped away from that now. So we'll also dig into kind of the reasons why he's stepping away from fractional real estate. Yeah, everyone, thanks for tuning in. If you haven't, go jump over to their channels real quick, subscribe, like, and like I said, I will be back tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern. Hopefully I'm not canceled, but we'll try to be back tomorrow.